Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Marks on TV. This one is a little different because it's not just me, Troy. It is also Greg. What's up, Greg?
What up?
Today we're talking about the Book of Boba Fett. This one, we're not going to give so much of a spoiler-filled review or anything. We're just going to kind of give broad swaths of what we thought of the show, kind of go over. I mean, there will be some spoilers here, so here's your warning now. If you don't want to know anything that happened in the show at all, turn back now. But other than that, I don't think
if you don't know, you're not watching. What the hell's wrong with you?
It's been watched by everybody I know pretty much, unless they just flat out don't care about Star Wars, which I don't know many of those kind of people. But
I don't want to know you.
I will say, first off, I'm going to ask you if you kind of agree with this statement, because I was talking to a guy I know who's a huge Star Wars fan, and he was talking about Book of Boba Fett, and the way I was talking, I was kind of comparing it to The Mandalorian, and he said, yeah, I don't really compare it to Mandalorian because of the style. To me, it comes off as more of like The Sopranos in space. I mean, do you kind of get that feel?
Yes, I can see that. It's all about the trade route and all that, and this is our turf, and what the hell are you doing here? I can see that.
And I mean, judging by everything you've said so far, I can tell that you really loved the show.
I did maybe more than most people did, but
yeah, I mean,
a lot of people didn't, and it's whatever. But
I'll say this: I mean, I have some critiques that I think are fair, kind of fair for the show. I'm not crapping on it. Overall, I enjoyed it. I didn't get to the end of the show and was like, well, that sucked. I mean,
but I did get to the end of the show and wonder, is this still about Boba?
Yeah, that was one of my major critiques for the show. And we'll get to that here in a bit. But just to kind of go over, I mean, what you were referring to, I mean, Internet Movie Database gave this 7.5 out of 10, which isn't awful. But, I mean, if you compare it to, The Mandalorian,
well, now that's kind of a masterpiece, though.
Right. 8.8 out of 10 on IMDb for Mandalorian. So over a whole point difference there. Rotten Tomatoes, I mean, the tomato meter gave it 74%, which is about on par with IMDb. The average audience score was 60%. I think that's a little unfair. Like I said, I can agree with some of the gripes that some people had with it, but I wouldn't have said it's slightly above average. I mean, I don't know. That's, again, I think that's kind of unfair.
I think people expected just Return of the Jedi, part 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
They showed him coming out of the Sarlacc pit, so all the theories ever were confirmed. But
right,
it's like, okay, it needs to be its own thing now.
Yeah, and
lazy writing. Otherwise,
yeah, I did like how they explained, because I was like, okay, well, I really want to see from beginning to end how the hell to get out of the Sarlacc pit, why, and all that stuff. And they showed that its armor is made of that same material that the Mandalorians make their armor out of. So it's basically, yeah, that's it. Different mystical, magical bullcrap metal. But it is still owned by Disney, so you're close. No,
that's in the current universe. This is a long time ago and far, far away. So
yeah, right. Yeah, this is something else. But this, yeah, the armor is made of something that's basically impermeable or whatever, impenetrable. So that saved him from basically being digested. And when he woke up, he's like, oh, crap, I'm in the Sarlacc pit. And he clawed and crawled his way out. He couldn't fly his way out because, as we saw in Return of the Jedi, his jetpack kind of busted. So I did like that they kept it that way. They're not like, oh, now it works. And he just flew his ass out. I thought that would have been, like you said, lazy writing. So
I'm kind of nitpicking on this, but I would have been happy if they would have showed Han hitting him by accident. Which, by the way, man, that was a horrible way to die, which obviously didn't.
That was everybody's beef.
Accidents.
Yeah, that was everybody's beef for years and years, ever since Return of the Jedi came out. They're like, okay, you built up Boba Fett for the past 2 movies as this big badass character, bounty hunter.
I would not say he was big badass at all. I would say he was cool. I would never say big badass. He had 5 minutes screen time.
Yeah, well, he was cool and crafty or whatever, and he was a bounty hunter that they were supposed to fear. He captured Han Solo and all that. and the way he was vanquished was Han accidentally smacks him, and his
he's part
jetpack
blind.
malfunctioned. Yeah, and his jetpack malfunctions and he falls into the Sarlacc pit. Like, oh, okay.
Cool, that was awesome.
And the thing is, I don't. Did you watch that short documentary thing on him that they had?
Not yet. The end of the helmet one?
Yeah,
not yet. I keep forgetting.
It's actually really good, and it gives some insight on the creation of the character. If anybody wants to check it out, not to ruin anything with it, I'm not going to give any big details or anything. Just this right here. They said he was like from the introduction of his costume before he was ever seen on screen. He was a big deal. Like people were buying his costume for Halloween, and people loved him before they even knew his name. So he was a popular character, and then he gets killed off like that. It's like, oh, cool. So
well, to be fair, he was probably never factored in to be something bigger though.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can hold him accountable for that.
I feel like George.
People act like he was created. People act like he was created to be a huge thing. I don't think he was. I think people just blew it up.
Right. I feel like George Lucas was just kind of like, we got to get rid of him somehow. So here we go.
Well, he did say in an interview if he knew how big he was going to be, he wouldn't have killed him off like that.
I feel like it was similar but worse, like cranked up to 11 with Captain Phasma. Like from the moment I saw her outfit, I was like, oh, cool. And they made a ton of merchandise for her and acted like she was going to be a big deal. She had collectively 3-4 minutes of screen time, and then she died. Then she came back and for another 3 minutes of screen time, died again. Like, what the hell? The actual Book of Boba Fett, I mean, you kind of see after he crawls out of the Sarlacc pit. Most of this, by the way, is flashbacks while he's in the, is it pronounced Bapta tank?
I think they call it Bacta. I always thought it was Bacta.
Bacta, Bapta, yeah, whatever. He's in this tank thing, tub, whatever, and he's healing up because
those were introduced in Star Wars Battlefront.
Okay, see, I did not watch that, so I didn't
Well, it wasn't a watch, it was the video game, but yeah.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah,
so
they were introduced in that, but they weren't that, though. They were just like pickups to heal you.
Ah, okay. It's kind of cool that they keep that continuity. That's
little
details here and there. Oh. Yeah, so, and I joked around that that's what Kenny Omega's been in ever since he left.
Right.
To heal his injury, because he's a huge nerd and all.
Or whatever the hell that Dragon Ball Z equivalent of that is.
Right. We get flashbacks while he's in that tank, and basically he crawled out of the Sarlacc pit and collapsed and passed out. And then when he wakes up, he got taken in by the Tusken Raiders, and we get a little backstory on the Tusken Raiders. Like we delve into their characters,
which is really cool. One of my favorite aspects that I didn't even know I wanted.
Yeah, because I was like, whatever. There's a sand people. They go, and they have big sticks and whatever, and who cares? But it was kind of cool that it's like you get to see their whole society. They do some trippy stuff, and they're good at hand-to-hand combat and whatever. It's nice to see flashbacks. The only thing I will say, it seemed like they kind of dragged it out a little bit, and then
I kind of started being like, okay, enough. Let's get to it.
Yeah, and then at the very end, it's like, oh, they all got wiped out, and that's it. Because like Boba went away. When he comes back, they've all been wiped out,
which is a throwback or a callback to when Anakin killed them all.
Yeah, there's that. I was also thinking about when Luke is gone with Obi Wan. He comes back, and his family's been burned to death.
Yeah, they kind of revisited that too, like another callback to that. It looked like the exact same house, by the way, or.
I know, right?
Or whatever it was.
Yeah. And it's made to look like it's these like Spice Runners or whatever, this motorcycle gang, basically. And it come to find out it's like the Pikes, the Pike Syndicate, which, it's like a big mafia, which is where, the whole Sopranos thing comes into play here. And so.
Hey, not personal, just business, all right?
So we're getting a lot of that through the series. Meanwhile, I will say this, it kind of lets you know why a little bit. Boba is like the way he is now, is with kind of a little bit of a softer edge, but I don't know. I feel like Fennec Shand, and a few people said this, it seemed like she was more Boba Fett than he was.
Yeah,
like,
she was the badass.
Yeah, and she was like not trusting of everybody, whereas Boba's like, hold on now, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. And it's like, what happened to you, dude? Like,
I mean, what made him a hardened guy was, remember, his dad was killed right in front of him.
I know.
Now all of a sudden he's kind of softy.
Yeah.
Then again, maybe him almost dying kind of did that to him too.
Yeah, I was willing to excuse most of that, like in my mind, because I was like, okay, he came back from the dead after getting kind of screwed over, and sort of, and then he watched his basically new family that took him in get murdered right in front of him by criminals, that he would have been associating with in his past life. So I don't know. I still don't understand. My one thing, I don't understand why he helped Fennec to begin with. He sees her dead, and he's like, out of the kindness of his heart, he's like, I'll take her to get saved. Maybe she'll help me out.
I just looked at it like he was a sidekick. I mean,
Yeah, it's like, maybe if I save her life, she'll follow me to the ends of the earth and do whatever I say. Like, I don't know, but
or do everything for him, whatever.
Yeah. And I've heard some people were saying, they're like, why didn't we just get a Fennec Shand show? Like, they're like, I feel like Boba Fett was just like the vehicle where it's like, well, he's more popular, so maybe more people will tune in and we can, kind of grow the Fennec Shand character. But she was cool and she wasn't shoved down our throats the whole time. She was right there with Boba. Another thing is, like, I feel like he had his helmet off through most of the show. And I was like, damn it, you got your helmet right there, man. Put it on. Like, be more like the Mandalorian. Other than that,
I just took that's where the box take really did it to him, and he had to breathe better.
Yeah, that could be it too. Two more things that I took. The first one I didn't take so much issue with, but it comes back to what you said, where it's like, was this even about Boba Fett anymore? We take 2 episodes for like season 2.5 of The Mandalorian. Like,
yeah, well, I'm like, maybe Yoda stuff or merch was slacking in sales. They had to redo it.
yeah, I was like, huh? And they even crap on the fact that they named him Grogu at one point. Like, who the hell was it? Didn't they say like, oh, that's an awful name or something like that?
I think Mandalorian did, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, okay. So it's like, do you regret calling him Grogu? But yeah, I mean,
well, he didn't have a name though. To be fair, they never called him Baby Yoda either. So
I know, it was just a child.
What was the name going to be?
Yeah, I know. I was like, you got to name him at some point, and he is a 50-year-old baby, so you got to. It's like he has to have a name. But and the 2 episodes were good that focused on the Mandalorian. But this is a Boba Fett show with 2 episodes that I think he was in like one quick scene, maybe. Am I wrong?
It got to the point where people were saying, "Oh, it's Boba Fett tonight." Actually, starring Boba Fett.
Yeah, right.
That's not good.
I know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't this where we finally find out Mando's real name in the show?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's Din Djarin, I think is how you say it, or Din Djarin, however you emphasize it.
I don't think you pronounce the D. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. That's so we find out his real name.
Not that deep in Star Wars nerdism. Sorry.
I know it's the first name is at least Din, D-I-N, and then it's Djarin. It's got like a silent D, so it's like Din Djarin. I don't know, but either way, we finally find out his real name. It's not Mando anymore. So, and he basically gets excommunicated from the Mandalorians because the lady boss was like, "Have you ever taken off your helmet?" And he's like, She's like,
I was like, why did he just say no?
Yeah, it's like, is she going to know any better? Like, I don't know. But either way, yeah, so that was the other one. And the final thing, before I get to all the awesome stuff for the show, just to get the stuff out of the way quickly, I felt like the moped gang fit in like seeing a clown in the middle of a dark alley at nighttime. It just didn't fit.
I didn't understand it.
Yeah, I'm like,
why are we now seeing these people on Tatooine? We've seen Tatooine in every iteration of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Now where these people exist?
I know, and it's like some cyberpunk.
Exactly what it was. I was watching with my buddy, and I literally said that, "Oh, this is like cyberpunk meets Star Wars."
Yeah, well, on top of the cyberpunk stuff, it's
still
like
did better than the actual cyberpunk game, but whatever.
Right. Well, and then they got these bright colored moped bike things, and I'm like, why? Like,
they're all missing a limb, right, or something.
Yeah, they're like, they purposely get altered by. They're basically like Nebula, but like from Marvel, but on purpose. Whereas she got altered against her will. Like they did it to themselves to make themselves better cyborg things. I don't freaking know. But that's where Fennec got fixed up at with some long dreadlock having dude. It's like they're growing thing, and they're like, well, we can inject this in here, right? Because it's weird and it kind of fits. Like, no. Like I said, I just that didn't fit whatsoever. And every time I saw them, I was all into the show, and then I saw that, and I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was all gang war stuff throughout the show. Some of this was kind of fueled by, like I said, Boba Fett's newfound trust of people, I guess. Like, he was more gullible, so he believed these crime lords who gave them his word. And then in the end, it came to bite him in the ass. But
I like how those, and this is all spoiler, by the way, so people have watched it, those green pig things finally meet their end. And all of a sudden, they're good.
Yeah, right. Yeah. They just kind of like blindly follow whoever sits in the throne of Jabba the Hutt, I guess. So, I mean, cool. They were never
Also
played
kinda-
as like smart characters anyway.
Well, they were tricked by Luke, so obviously they're weak-minded, but
Right.
It was kind of cool to see there were other Hutts out there, because we've heard the word the Hutts many times. I believe the first time the word the Hutts were ever said were Qui-Gon Jinn in what was the name of that? The atrocity that is. Yeah.
Good Lord. Yeah. Well, I mean, we saw, was it Jabba's father and mother?
They were brother and sister. I don't know if they were his mother. I don't know.
No, in the Phantom Menace. I thought they were.
I think that was just Jabba himself.
The Jabba was
at the pod race.
Yeah, I know Jabba was there, but they showed like little Jabba, I think. And then like I think
to be fair, I don't like that movie at all.
Right. So I think it's funny because I know one of it, because Jabba's big and brown, like a big turd, but the one that we saw that was like ruling at the time was like black and gray, so it was definitely a different Hutt. I think it was his dad, but I could be wrong. These ones
look different in the Phantom Menace when it first came out too. Don't forget that. Like,
yeah,
like garbage. They at least fixed it for the Blu-ray. But
well, this one we got the CGI'd Hutts in this one, and it was, I guess, to what you were saying, I guess they were cousins or brother and sister or whatever of the of Jabba, and they were coming to take his throne. They were like twin Hutts that sat on one giant slab together and were carried around. But we only got to see them for like a split second. You know, they were in a few scenes, and they're like, well, the Pikes are coming to town, so we're getting out of here, and you probably should too. And that kind of set up for the big showdown at the end where the Pikes came in and all that. The two biggest things I liked about this were he gets his own Rancor.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, because
I didn't know there were multiple of those either.
Yeah, because obviously the first one was killed by Luke in Return of the Jedi, and then so he gets a new one, and this one ends up wreaking havoc in the end, and Baby Yoda has to stop it, and it was kind of weird, but it was like a very King Kong kind of thing at the end of the last episode. The other thing I really liked was the introduction, the live action introduction of Cad Bane.
Yeah, I had no idea who the hell that was. I'm not gonna lie, so I didn't watch the.
Yeah,
I guess it was the Clone Wars.
Yeah, he was in that cartoon, I guess, and I think he was in video games or whatever. I don't know. I was talking with a mutual friend of ours about it, and I was like, yeah, I had no idea who the hell this guy was. I was like, he wasn't there for very long. I liked what he did, but he got killed off kind of quickly.
Well, apparently he doesn't really die. He's been resurrected multiple times, so he ain't dead.
Yeah, he pointed out, he's like, well, he's not really dead, because you can see like he's got some breathing apparatus, whatever, and the light keeps blinking on it.
Yeah, and through Star Wars nerdisms, I learned that he doesn't really ever die. He keeps coming back. So
nice.
So he ain't dead.
And I was like, he wasn't there very long until he got stabbed to death, whatever. And I was like, and within like 2 minutes of dialogue, we're supposed to figure out that him and Boba apparently have this long running feud that goes back years and years. And
see, now, since he's from the Clone Wars, I'm wondering if the feud was with Jango, and he just thinks that's Jango.
Or it's just with the whole Fett family. I don't know. But that's what I was wondering about.
It's not really a Fett family member. They're all clones. They made him from
Jango,
and Boba was just the one he kept. So if it's the whole Fett family, technically it's all the Stormtroopers.
Yeah, well, when I say I mean just, Boba and Jango. But yeah, I mean, that's all I can think of. But and then, our mutual friend pointed out, he was like, well, he's from Clone Wars. You got to go back and watch that. And I'm like, I'm not watching a whole damn cartoon just to get the backstory of this one
someone
episode?
made like a little thing about like you just got to watch these couple episodes and stuff like that. So I'll try to find it and send it to you. But there's only a couple you need to watch apparently.
In wrestling terms, I compared it to when they would do something on AEW Dynamite. There, I'm like, I don't get that. And it's like, oh, it was referenced on Being the Elite. And I'm like, I'm not going to YouTube to figure out why they're doing this on Dynamite.
The YouTube. Yeah, it's perfect comparison too, because like you shouldn't have to watch this to get this, because this is the main thing.
I know.
And maybe it's just me, but I don't ever call animated stuff canon to anything live action.
Right. And I realize it is.
I refuse to.
Yeah.
And I realize I don't count it.
Yeah, and I realize it is, and they've pointed out since Disney bought it, these cartoons are canon, these are not, and blah, 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 whatever. But still, it's like, bleh. All in all, I thought Boba Fett, or the Book of Boba Fett, was definitely worth a watch, if nothing else. I mean, it was enjoyable for me. I know I
loved it.
Yeah, I know people,
but I don't nitpick every single thing like people do either. So I can just enjoy something at its face value. It doesn't have to have deeper meaning to me.
I can see people's criticism of it. I had my own, like I pointed out in this, but I didn't think it was garbage. I mean, there are certain things where, piece of entertainment where it's like, yeah, no, that's objectively bad and whatever. And I don't love everything that's come out Star Wars, for the past, I don't know how many years, but I don't hate it all. And I can find, even if I don't like it, I can find some enjoyment in it, if nothing else. Like I said, I don't think if you're comparing it to the Mandalorian, it's not the same. It's not, it's in a different vein. So I don't know. Even though
I do think that Obi Wan's going to blow everything away, though. I'll say that.
Yeah, I don't foresee that one falling short. I'm like so excited for Obi Wan. If that one isn't amazing, then I don't know what the hell to say or do, because it's got everything set up to be great.
Jon Favreau directing it.
Oh yeah, and I know the nerds are already out because they said 100%. They already came out and said, oh well, Obi-Wan and Darth Vader will have another lightsaber duel in this one, rematch from episode 3. And the nerds are like, they never were supposed to meet again until, New Hope and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, whatever.
When was that ever said?
Apparently in the books, which aren't
no
anymore. Yeah. It's not.
When you go and read books and watch cartoons and try to make that part of it, that's on you, you idiot.
Yeah. I mean, things are changing. It's like, sure, that was part of the universe before, kind of, but I mean, I only watched the movies. I didn't go back and watch the cartoons. I didn't read the books. I read like half of Darth Plagueis, but none of that stuff is canon now. So it's like, it's turned from canon into fanfic. So it's different, and they're changing some things for the better, some things for the whatever. But I'm excited for the future of Star Wars. So far I've enjoyed both of the Star Wars shows on Disney Plus, the originals. I haven't watched the cartoon. To your point, I don't watch the Star Wars cartoons. But didn't they come out with one already? A new one?
If they did, I didn't see it.
Yeah, apparently that's supposed to be canon with the greater lore now too. But like I said, I don't remember what it's called. But yeah, so Disney Plus is getting there, or Disney rather, is getting their mileage out of Star Wars. Now I think that the Skywalker saga is officially wrapped up in film form. They have so much they can do outside of that, be it the Old Republic and all that stuff. So, well, looking forward to that, whatever they do next. And the Obi-Wan stuff, I always felt that it's like, dude, he was on that planet for 20 years, whatever, between the end of episode 3 and episode 4. Like, there's got to be something that happened, unless he just sat in a cave for 2 decades and that was it.
Oh no, he had a house. Remember, he takes Luke to his house in New Hope, so he's got some kind of house.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to the very first episode when he explains why his name's Ben.
Yeah, right. Uncle Ben Kenobi, where he explains that with great power comes great responsibility.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that, and it's cool that Ewan McGregor in real life has more age on him, so it makes sense. It's not like they're going back in time and it's like, oh, he looks older but he's younger.
They would have just aged him. It's fine. That was never going to be an issue.
But either way, that is the Book of Boba Fett. Looking forward to Obi-Wan. Have they given an official release date for that yet?
I believe is it March or April?
May 25th is the
May,
official
okay.
release date. That's what I'm seeing.
Why not May 4th?
That would have been perfect. Yeah, but
I'm hoping May 4th is when they finally release the theatrical cuts on Disney Plus. You get that talk every year.
Yeah, right. So looking forward to that. May is going to be big for Obi-Wan, and there's a lot coming to Disney Plus, be it Star Wars, Marvel, and whatnot. So anyway, that has been another episode of Marks on TV. Thanks for joining me, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
Like and subscribe. If that subscribe button below this video is red, that means you have not subscribed. So go ahead and do that, and we will see you
Hit
all.
that bell.
Yes, and that will let you know whenever we post something. It'll notify you right away that we have posted new content, which is almost daily, be it wrestling related, toy related, or TV, game, or show related. It's on here with our new Marks on Media with the main event Marks. The podcast, which is all wrestling, retro wrestling that is, posts every single Wednesday. So go subscribe to the podcast as well.
Sometimes on Friday.
Yes, second to last Friday of every month is a bonus show. Check that out. Thank you all for being our new subscribers. We've been growing our base as of late, and I appreciate it. And I know Greg does as well. We will see you all on the next Marks on TV.